now, preview time. So let's take a look at what's coming your way.
And now for a taste of things to come.
What's going on, everybody? And thank you for joining me here once again for another brand new installment of Renegades Reviews, exclusively here as always on the Casa D18 Studios YouTube channel. I, of course, am your host, the Renegade JJ Williams, thanking each and every single one of you for coming back and joining me here once again in our newly remodeled theater. Now, for today's film, we're going to take a look at a Disney Channel original Christmas film that dropped on November 14th of this year, entitled A Very Jonas Christmas Movie. As you can probably guess from the title of the film, today's movie stars Kevin, Joe, and Nick, the Jonas Brothers. The movie also stars Chloe Bennett, Billy Lord, KJ Apa, Randall Park, and Jesse Tyler Ferguson. Now, as our movie begins, it's Christmas time in London, England, and the Jonas Brothers are performing the final concert of their 6-month tour. And you want to know who is a Jonas Brothers superfan? Will Ferrell. That's right. Ferrell is playing a fictionalized version of himself at the outset of the film, and his real life wife, Vivica Paulin, whom Ferrell married in the year 2000, and their three kids, Magnus, Matthias, and Axel, are all headed to the big Jonas Brothers concert. And as a Jonas obsessive, Ferrell is getting anxious that his family isn't taking the concert quite as seriously as they should be. Now, getting back to the Jonases. Now that they're all in their 30s, they're tired. They're dads. They've spent basically their entire lives on stage, and they just want some downtime. So, after a world tour that ends in London just a few days before Christmas, the brothers are eager to fly back to New York and spend the holidays with their families. Nick and Kevin's wives, Priyanka Chopra Jonas and Danielle Jonas, actually make appearances within the film, as do their respective real life kids. Meanwhile, Joe mentions his desire to see his kids, but we don't see them, as he just recently went through a very public breakup. Now, before they leave London, Joe insists that the brothers all need to have one last big night out together in order to celebrate. But Kevin and Nick are too tired and they want to be refreshed, ready to see their kids. So Joe performs an entire musical fantasy number entitled Best Night, where he imagines how fun a night out in London with his brothers will be. And within the fantasy, Joe appears dressed as Elton John, Daniel Radcliffe, and the Beckhams, David and Victoria, all people you would expect to find out on the scene on a night in London. Unmoved by Joe's musical fantasy, Nick and Kevin go to bed while Joe hits the bar and meets Santa Claus, played by Jesse Tyler Ferguson, who can sense that there's some brotherly tension going on. Santa proceeds to place a curse on Joe and the rest of his brothers, which isn't very Santa-like in my opinion. The curse basically states that they won't make it home unless they can reconnect as brothers. Santa causes their private plane to explode on the tarmac, leaving them stranded in London, and they have to work together in order to find another way home. As their travel agent Cassidy, played by Billie Lourd, the daughter of Carrie Fisher, keeps trying to find them flights out of Europe, they encounter one obstacle after another on their journey. They continue to be rerouted and misled by Santa's devious plan. They take a cab from Heathrow Airport to the London train station, hoping to catch a train to Paris and then a flight home from France to New York. Instead, Santa's curse rears its ugly head once again, and the train ends up taking the brothers to Amsterdam. While on the train, Joe bumps into Lucy, played by Chloe Bennett, an old friend from his childhood that he actually went to grade school with. And they reconnect while in Amsterdam as they strip down to their underwear for a late night dip in an Amsterdam canal. As the brothers proceed to travel across Europe, Santa continues to lead them astray. They attempt to fly home courtesy of Jean, Cassidy's ex, played by KJ Apa, out of Hamburg, Germany. But Jean becomes distracted when he sees a photoshopped image on Cassidy's social media, and he begins taking provocative selfies of himself in an attempt to make her jealous. As a result, the plane crashes, which further prevents the brothers from getting home in a timely manner. The film wraps up with Santa successfully having reconnected the brothers and then checking his phone and stating, "Oh, Oasis needs me," before dashing off. Definitely a solid joke here. Perhaps it really was Santa who got Liam and Noel Gallagher back on the road. Over the credits, the brothers perform a live version of Sucker as we see an epilogue that shows what happened to the rest of the celebrities who appeared within the movie. Now, at its core, A Very Jonas Christmas Movie is a bonding on the road trip musical comedy starring the Jonas Brothers. Per Santa's curse, obviously they have to reconnect with each other and be honest with each other about their feelings of frustration and exhaustion. Can they remember what it's just like to be Jonas Brothers and not the Jonas Brothers? I read a review on Decider.com written by Liz Kokan, and I hope I pronounced that right, Liz, in an effort to find a suitable synopsis for the film, as there wasn't one on Wiki as of this filming. Liz said, and I quote, "Their closeness is what makes the movie work, allowing them to take hilarious digs at each other throughout the movie. If they weren't brothers, some of the barbs might seem cruel, but they own their archetypes, and most of the jokes come off as how real families would take a cheap shot at each other. Nick is the workaholic who keeps the ship from running aground. Joe is the girl chaser who also happens to be very talented. Kevin is the family man. It's just too bad he can't really sing." I personally think that this was a solid interpretation of the roles that the brothers portray. The thing with Kevin really connected with me, even though it's just a minor part of the film. His desire to want to sing lead on a song is admirable. So when he actually gets his opportunity to shine during the song Time, which comes towards the end of the film, I got a little emotional, I'm not going to lie. I actually added that song to my Christmas playlist. It's just all in the way that the story was built in order to crescendo at that moment. Now, admittedly, I'm not a fan of the Jonas Brothers. I do like the song Sucker that plays over the end credits, but only because the first time I heard it, I didn't realize it was them. So when I did discover it was a Jonas Brothers song, I didn't turn away from it. I just embraced it. I felt it was the only fair thing to do. Like, how am I going to sit here and start dissing a song that I liked just because I found out the artist? I do more so prefer the episode of South Park entitled The Rain, where they parody and lampoon the Jonas Brothers, to the actual brothers themselves. However, I did thoroughly enjoy this film. Again, I'm a sucker for Christmas movies. Like what I did there? This film ticks all the boxes for a solid Christmas flick. So when it comes to my rating, I give A Very Jonas Christmas Movie 4 out of 5 snowflakes. But tell me, what do you guys think of A Very Jonas Christmas Movie? Let me know. Leave your thoughts in the comments below. Let's have that conversation, that discussion, that debate, that discourse, that interaction, that engagement that I'm always yearning for from you, my loyal viewers. Make sure you give the video a thumb up and just put a comment of some sort in the box, as it helps to boost my video up in the algorithms, recommending my content and my reviews to other people who like similar style videos, so that maybe they will discover the Casa D18 Studios YouTube channel. And until next time, when we return to the theater for another brand new episode of Renegades Reviews, exclusively here as always on the Casa D18 Studios YouTube channel, I have been your host, the Renegade J.J. Williams, thanking each and every one of you for tuning in and joining me in the newly remodeled theater. And I will catch y'all next time.